I'm very pleased to be joined. My next guest is Gary McCord. Of course, you heard him for 35 plus years on CBS Sports. You hear him now on Sirius XM radio with Drew Stoltz. They are quite a team. Gary, what's going on today? How are you?
Good. How about yourself, Gary? Everything well?
I'm good. I was just joking off air there just a minute ago. I played golf in 29 degrees at TPC Potomac, a place that you have spent some time with.
That is just sick. You have nothing to do, don't you? Nothing.
Well, no, it's that I have so much time with all my kids. I'm always watching my kids. I get a 3-hour window, and I have to play golf, right?
I got it. 3 kids. Yeah, I got it. You got to get out of the house. No question.
Yeah.
You got to get out of the house. How are those greens at 29 degrees?
Well, they're thud. They're pretty fast, man. I mean, chipping is a joke. You have to land it 10 feet short of every green and just let it release.
So what happens if you're hitting a 4-iron into some of those greens? What happens?
What you're saying? If you hit a fairway, roll it in from the fairway?
Oh yeah. Let's say you got what's the 11th hole there or 12th hole, that long hole. You got to hit driver 5-iron. Where do you land a 5-iron? 100 yards short of the green and let it ice all the way up there?
My favorite kind of golf is Scottish links golf, baby. So it just brings me back right to St. Andrews.
You got it.
But anyway, hey, Gary, I wanted to get into some cool stories with you. Obviously, the Phoenix Open, of course, has been going on, and I wanted to ask you about number 16. You have called so many shots there. What really comes to mind with some of your favorite memories of 16?
And not so much of the shots; it's just the idiocy that's out there. When we started that thing, I'll tell you a story. I think we opened the TPC Scottsdale. I think it was in 1986 or 1987 was the first tournament. And we're out there playing, and, really nothing's going on at that time. It's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal, but nothing like you see now with all the different corporate tents and everything else. And the 16th hole was it's a little par 3 of 176 yards, tipped, pin back, tee back. It's 176. It's nothing. You play a bunch of really interesting holes on literally the whole back 9 coming into 16, and then you finish with a couple of really good holes. So 16 just kind of sitting there. And now in the old days, 16th hole, it was a tee back there, and they had some bleachers, just bleachers. And there was, I would say, aluminum bleachers. They were probably 10 deep up, not too wide, just right behind the tee. Okay. And about 100 steps from there, over by the berm, towards the canal, was a TGIF Fridays. Got it?
Yeah.
And for some reason, the kids from ASU came out there and took over those bleachers. Took them over because TGIF Fridays right there. So they had easy access to the beer right there.
The good stuff.
And there was just a group of them, I don't know, 30 of them up there. And they're hooting and hollering at you and everything. So I remember the second year I was there, after I'd seen that, I remember I'm on the tee, and they were just then starting to do the wait until impact, and then go, they start drinking.
Crazy.
Right? And you could hear them gambling and stuff like that. So I got up on the tee, and I told my 2 playing guys I was with, I said, watch this. So I get up, and I took it back, and I started out, and I stopped. Okay? And they all get it. And I turned around, and I went like, what was that? What was that? What are you doing? And they all started booing and everything. And I hold on. So I reached in my golf bag, and I pulled out, and I had the centerfold Playmate of the Year. And I took it out, and I held it up, and they went insane. Okay? So I get to the next tee, 17th tee. Here comes the rules official. And he goes, come here. And I go, what? He goes, what are you doing back? Are you inciting a riot back there? What are you doing? Nothing. What do you mean, what am I doing? I knew there was no official back there, right? So I don't know who tattled on me. So I know one of my playing partners. So I'm going, okay, who tattled? So I just kept denying it. I didn't do anything. What do you mean? Well, they were yelling and screaming. You did something. I saw you hold up something. I don't know what you're talking about. Declaration of Independence. I'm going to see if they can read it from here, whatever. So they go, you can't do that again. You can't incite the riot. So now you look and fast forward to, we won't take this year, obviously, but let's take 2019, you know, when CBS was doing it. On Saturdays, there was, I think the last time I was there, was 223,000 people there on Saturday. 223,000. And you want to talk about screaming. That is unbelievable. I used to go down and have to do the opening of the show on Gator Cam. And Gator Cam is that big, huge camera that's got the telescopic arm that goes out, and they can hold it over time and space, and they hold it over the bleachers there, and they can do all sorts of things. So basically, I've got to do a lead-in for the tournament from the tee on 16 with every idiot drunk in the world there, screaming and yelling. Okay,
all your neighbors,
all my neighbors. So it's really something. It's like trying to make a 3-footer for the win. Okay, it's got your full attention because you're going to hear stuff in the background. So I remember the last time I did it, I went over and I aimed the camera, and I had the guy aim the camera to the left of the tee is where all the idiots are in the costumes, Big Bird. Okay, and you've got Superman, and you've got, you name it, it's over there in costumes. So I went over, and before we got on about 10 minutes, I said, all right, now listen, guys, and I'm talking to these idiots. Listen, you guys, I'm going to have the camera aimed at you. We're going to go on live over here. I'm going to do a lead-in, and I want you to hoop, holler, and all that stuff. I do not want to hear any swear words. You got it? Big Bird, are you listening? So I'm pointing to this stupid bird that's 9 foot tall. Tell him not to say the F word, right? Don't say it because it'll be on live television. So all they're going to do is they're going to take it out, and you guys won't get on the camera, right? So if you guys just are loud, I don't care what you do, just don't give me the F word, all right? Okay, fine, good. I'm sitting there going, I'm just talked to a 9-foot bird about saying the F word on live television. So I get over there. And here we go, and we're going to do it. And just as I start to go, my producer goes, hold on. Basketball just went overtime. I go, what? He goes, it's gone overtime. We're going to be on a little late, so we'll use it. Anyway, went overtime about 10 minutes, and we had to go right into golf shots. So I didn't even get to do the lead-in on the thing. Big Bird, but I went like this to Big Bird over there. They started booing me and flipping me the bird, and everyone was like, come on, guys. I tried. Anyway, that's the stuff I remember. I don't remember one golf shot there. Other than, I'll give you this one. On the anniversary of Tiger Woods' hole-in-one on the 16th hole in its infancy there, I was partners with a guy named Gene Parenti of Golf Laboratories, who has the robot that plays golf, Eldrick. I got to name him, Ldrick, RIC. Launch directional, whatever, I put an acronym in there. Anyway, it's a 7-foot robot that can play golf, okay? Gene Parenti is the guy that tests all the equipment, so he makes all the robots you see that hit balls and sells them to Titleist and all the companies, tailor-made. So I told him one day, can we make this thing where we put a head on him and a body and cover up all the hydraulics and everything, and can you teach him how to chip and putt and all that? And he goes, yeah. So 6 months later, he brings out this robot to me, and we go try it, and we went to golf courses in the morning before they open with a robot, and the guy works the robot much like you work any kind of remote control deal, right? And the robot goes down the fairway, wherever it hits it, it plays it from that lie, it plays golf, okay? This thing is unbelievable. It can hit it, it probably hit it with electricity. We got lithium batteries in it now, so he can probably hit about 370, 380, something like that. And he putts. He does everything. It's unbelievable. Anyway, they want to have the robot on Wednesday in front of all the people there. Go hit. He gets 5 shots at a hole-in-one, right? So we go and do a clinic on the other golf course with all these kids. This robot's 7 foot tall, Eldrick. So here we go. We go to the driving range, and the driving range at TPC is right next to the Coliseum there on 16. So I'm looking over and I'm looking at the wind direction. So I tell my programmer there with the thing, I said, okay, I need 168 yards and I need it to cut about 6 feet. So he goes, okay, fine. So he gets on the thing and he goes, da-da-da, with the deal, and he hits enter. And here goes the robot. And he hits it, and I'm watching. I said, that one. The guy went enter. So we got it. 168, it had a 4 foot cut. I needed to hold it up against the wind, right? So we got everything done. So here it comes in the Coliseum. We roll this thing. It's remote control, so it goes by itself, right? These people go nuts because there's nobody working there. They can't see anybody working the robot, right? So it marches into the Coliseum, and we start to go to the tee, the back tee at 168 yards, right, where we programmed it. And the marshals go, no. You got to play down here. They don't want you on the back tee. I said, no. We got to go to the tee, the back tee, 168. We've got the freaking thing programmed for 168. It's got a 7-iron. It's the only club we brought, right?
Eldrick's going to go crazy.
Eldrick's going to go nuts. So now they go up to the front, tee it. One of the tour caddies there said, give me your Bushnell. So I hit it, and we got 143. So I go to Gene. I go, Gene, got 143. What are you going to do? He says, I don't know. So all we got is a 7-iron. I can't hit it that short because if you take off the speed, the ball's going to have no spin. It's going to be flat, right? And you know where to stop it. So he goes 1, 2, third one. Every ball hit really good, right in the front, and it ran right off the back of the green about 60, 70 feet. It's got no spin. We can't hit it that short. So, Gene, this is one of the great. This is only an engineer would think of this. So Gene goes his last ball, which with the 4th ball. He teed it up about 2 inches, and moved Eldrick back 2 inches, so the ball was up on the toe, and it was teed up 2 inches in the air. So he deadened it, and because the club is twisting, it's twisting a little open at that point, right? So it got a little loft. So I've got no other choice, and it went right in the hole. So
oh my gosh!
25,000 people went bananas. They went robot, basically. They just went out of their mind. And long story short, we got 23 million hits on our website for Eldrick around the world after that hole-in-one. So that by far is the damnedest shot I've ever seen, because it was a total fluke, and the engineer figured out the only way he was going to hit a 7-iron that was already pre-programmed at 168 with a 4 foot cut could get it in the hole from 143. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
That is crazy. Wow. Well, that's Waste Management Phoenix Open. That's a certain week of the year, part of the West Coast Swing. You covered so many of them. You played so many of them. I want to ask you about the AT&T at Pebble Beach, the old Crosby clam bake. What comes to mind? I know there's certain moments there, the Saturday morning when you're out there early with Jim Nance and in years past, and Ian Baker Finch and Verdi, all those guys, but you're on a practice green, and there are all kinds of personalities there. What is that like? What comes to mind from over the years?
Well, from over the years, the first thing I remember when I first started playing it, I played. I had a buddy of mine from San Francisco Golf Club that I played with, and when you played, and in the rotation at that point was Cypress Point, and Cypress Point on when you start the back nine, the 10th hole goes down the hill. There's a little valley down there. To the right of the 10th hole is the 11th green, setting down about 80 feet. And to the left is a par 5 coming back up numbers 6. Yeah, 5 or 6. Anyway, there's a little valley there with about 3 or 4 holes. And Bing Crosby used to walk back and forth and talk to everybody. That was his deal. So he got to go in 3 holes or 4 holes with the par 3, number 7. There, he'd walk back and forth and just say hi to everybody, you know, and he had his little walking stick as a seat. He'd sit there, watch, he hit a couple of shots, and he and Sandy were pretty good friends, my partner. So Bing would come and walk with us. for a couple of holes, which was really cool. That's the first thing I remember. This is a good story. Just remember this one. First year I played in the Crosby. First year, my first tournament, and it was 1974. So I'm playing in the Crosby Clambake, and this is my first golf tournament. I tee it up on the PGA Tour. Okay, get my card in 73. I got it. Yeah, the qualifying school then was in November, and then so the first tournament I chose to play was the Crosby. So I get there and I'm playing Cypress, and it is a nasty, nasty day, and it got worse. So bad that the seagulls and the seals all went to hide. There was not a seagull around. They were hiding in the bushes. The seals were in caves down there by the 16th hole, hiding in there. They wouldn't even go out in the water. It was brutal. So we get to, and I'm having, it's my first round of golf. I'm having the worst day possible known to man, okay? And I get up on the 16th tee, and I am absolutely drenched. You can't even put a hat on because they would blow off. It was cold, rainy for the entire day. And I got on the tee, and it's blowing. Have you ever played Cypress?
I haven't yet. But yeah, the par 3, long par 3. Okay.
If you look to your right, if you look hard enough, you can see Hawaii. Okay? It's nothing but ocean. And the wind is coming from Hawaii right at us, and it's about 40 degrees. And it is raining sideways. Now, the hole to carry it is about, from back there, about 220. Okay? So I pegged the driver up. I can't even get across the layup area with the driver, but I'm going for it. And the hole had to be playing 410, okay, at that point, and it was a par 3, right? And I got this thing teed up. I am 17 over par.
Oh.
17 over. This is my first round on the PGA Tour. I'm 17 over par, and I don't give a damn because I am going to hit this on the green. I would have made, God knows what I made on this hole. I got it pegged in. I start to step back, and you've got one hand up like this, and you're trying to look out there where you're going to aim this thing, which doesn't matter. I can't get there anyway. And just as I do that, I hear the golf carts coming down. And these are the old days where they didn't have horns. You couldn't hear them. And Gordy Glantz was an old tour official. He goes, guys, we're calling it off. It's unplayable. Go home. Get dry. Get out of here. I go, Gordy, can I hit this tee shot? He says, I don't care. So he's going to the next. He's got to go, and he's got to tell all these groups, let's go home. He says, start on 1. We start over. So I hit this tee shot. I hit it hard, and right where I was aiming, right at the green. I was 150 yards short of the green. So I hit 100. I hit 100 yards. My tee shot. Hit it good. Hit 100 yards. Okay, and I was gonna, I was gonna stay there until I got the ball on land. I don't know what I would have made, right? So, long story short, I get there the next day on the 16th tee. 24 hours later, I had just birdied 7 holes in a row. I am 8 under par at that point. In the round with 3 to go.
Oh, boy.
I stood on that tee 25 shots better than I did the day before. And what did I do? 8 under. What did I do on that hole? I laid it up to the left because if you've got a good score going, you can ruin it with one bad swing there. So your layup area over there, there's an old cypress that laid across kind of this way, and you aim it to the left of it and just hope you got it on land over there by the 17th fairway. And then you had a full wedge in basically on this par 3. So I laid it up and then went par and shot 65, and I led the tournament. So I went from 17 over par, 17 over, but I still had 3 holes to go, right? I don't want to win a shot. And I ended up leading the tournament the next day. So that was it. That's the first true story. That's the first round of Pebble Beach. First tournament ever I played on the tour.
right, at the 18, well, the Crosby Clambake at the time.
Crosby Clambake.
75th anniversary is this year of that event. You have probably been a part of it for probably 50 of those 75 years, right? 15 as a player, 35 as a broadcaster. So what is an aspect of that tournament that these golf fans need to know more about?
Of the AT&T, in the old days, it was really cool because all the old time actors there from Bing and Phil Harris, who used to sit, you millennials, I don't know if you guys know who Phil Harris is, but go Google him. He was fantastic, an old crooner, a comedian. He was funny. And Frank Shirkinian, our executive producer, put him down on the 17th tee with me on the couch. And we would just entertain all the celebrities coming in there, and they'd hit a shot and we'd interview them. Phil Harris was there. Johnny Weissmuller was there. Glenn Campbell is a great friend of mine. He's a neighbor here. He was a neighbor here in Arizona. Just all these guys and they would have the Clambake. And the Clambake was over at the yacht club. And they would get over there and start singing and dancing, and all the celebrities would get up, and whatever they did, they would get up and do a little deal. And that's how and they just get hammered. And you could see these guys the next day, they were oblivious to any kind of weather because they couldn't feel any pain at all. And that's how the whole thing started. It was just a wild party. And then it kind of, it morphs, obviously, as corporate America comes in, and they take some of those celebrities and move them here and over there to do speeches and entertain their clients over here and there. So it changed a lot from one big party with all the boys to now it's kind of just a big corporate deal with whatever celebrities are there. They come and do their thing, which they're very good at. Well,
it's interesting. I think about that event, and it's in February, right, in California. And yeah. I remember talking to a joint friend of ours, Sandman, Matt Sanders. Yeah. And Sandman told me the reason why it's in February, of course, this is all Bing Crosby's idea, the Clambake, to have it. But the reason why it's in February is because that's the time of the year when you want to get more tourism. This is back 75 years ago in that part of California. That's just the dead time of the year. And lo and behold, here we are 75 years later.
Yeah, the tournament actually started in Rancho Santa Fe in, I think, 1937 or 8. And Bing took it down there. And, I believe, I want to take a wild shot at this. Sam Snead won the first one at Rancho Santa Fe. And then they moved it up because Bing lived up he lived up near Aptos up there. Forgot the name of the place. Anyway, so I think he just moved it up there because it was closer to his home. I'm guessing that's the reason. And pretty good reason is Pebble Beach is there. And if he could get that, so he did. And then it got there. And then, I played in hail, snow, rain. I told you about the first ever. I was leading it at Cypress, and it hailed at Spyglass.
Yeah.
Hailed and got on the green. Now, in those days, we had 3 golf courses. I think we had 4 tour officials on our staff at that point. So all decisions made for stopping play was you. Hey, guys, it's too dark. I'm not playing. There was no tour. You couldn't find him. There was nobody with walkie-talkies, nothing. So I remember sitting on a log, a chopped tree down to the left on the 8th hole at Spyglass. I sat there for 4 hours because it would hail, and the hail was on the green. And as far as I know, ball doesn't roll really good on hail. So we just quit. And then everybody quits behind you because sometimes it hails here. Anyway, long story short, in the old days, there was no communication whatsoever. You didn't know what was going on. Because now if you had a hailstorm on the 8th hole at Pebble, it stops. All the golf courses have to stop. They got radios. Guys, stop play. So anyway, that place fogged in where you couldn't get to the golf course. Couldn't see 15 feet in front of you. I don't know if you've ever driven through the forest there, as they call it. Yeah. You're going to hit a tree if it's foggy. or you're going to hit something. So and I ended up, I started playing there in the California State Amateur, where we used to play, we play a stroke play, and then we go into match play. And we had a ball up there playing. $15 cost at Pebble Beach when I was a junior golfer to play. That was great.
And just, I mean, do you remember those first images of it when you hadn't yet played it at that point?
When I played in the amateur, yeah. One thing I remember was we ended up with 7 of us staying at the, geez, I can't believe I remember this, the Grosvenor's Inn. 7 of us. We all brought sleeping bags. We're all kids. We didn't know any better. We're all kids, you know. We brought our sleeping bags, and we'd sneak into the room one by one so they couldn't see us at the front desk, right? And then we'd all end up in there, and then we'd go, you know, when the girls would go in and clean the rooms, they'd leave the cart out in front with the towels. We'd go steal some towels so everybody had a towel, right?
Oh, gosh.
Going to steal it, run in. And then the deal was the guy with the lowest score got the bed that night. Everybody else had to sleep on the floor. That's what I remember. I got to the quarterfinals once. Quarterfinals, I think, once. That was about as close as I got. But that was 1964, 5, 6, around in there sometime.
Way back when.
Way.
Wow. Well, here's somebody that you spend a lot of time with who is always at the AT&T and has won it a couple times at the Pro-Am portion with Kevin Streelman. That is Larry Fitzgerald. He loves the game so much. Give my listeners an idea of, at least at Pebble Beach, if you can think of, just a cool moment that he had at AT&T where you've seen him talk to him.
I was with actually Larry yesterday. He had the bus with him. They were playing golf down at Whisper Rock. And so he came over to the table and talked a little bit. I remember one time with Larry, one time he's leading it. He and Kevin are leading it. They're on 16, you know, and we're on the air doing all this stuff. And the next thing I know, he putts out and everything, and I hear the tower start shaking and everything. And somebody behind me goes, "Hey, Larry wants to say hi." And Larry ran up the stairs, and he's, "Hey, I just want to say hi. How you doing?" I think, "What are you doing? You got 2 more holes. You guys have got the lead. Get down there." And just literally, Larry Fitzgerald is, and I don't say this loosely, he's the nicest guy in the world. You have never met a better guy than Larry Fitzgerald. You really haven't in any way, shape, or form. He's got time for everybody. He's a hell of an athlete. He's philanthropic in our community in Arizona. You cannot get a better guy than Larry. And he'll do that. He'll go out of his way, you know, stupid things. "Hey, I wanted to say hi." What are you doing? And we talked on the air a little bit, you know, how you do. You know, I just put the headset up to him and cranked it over this way. And but those guys are great doing that. Great.
Yeah. Well, Larry, you spent a lot of time with him at Whisper Rock, at the club you guys are both a part of. So tell our audience how passionate of a golfer is he, and how good of a golfer, in your estimation, is he?
Well, he's, you know, he'll be out there on Mondays when they've got play day, when they get done and they're beat up. I mean, they're beat up. And he's out there hitting balls all the time on Monday afterwards, you know, hitting balls, trying to get better. He's got a really good, his golf swing is much better than his golf game. Okay, he looks really good doing it. He just, you know, this sport is so hard. It's hard to, you have a game and then you got to play that game, your golf swing, to the game of golf and try to figure it out from there. And so trying to figure out the game of golf with all the little things you do for those guys is really hard, because for 6 months they're getting their brains pounded out, right? And they can't do any of that stuff. So, and he just kind of started playing. I know when he first came to Whisper Rock, Greg Trias, whose office I'm in right here, that owns Whisper Rock, told Larry that Larry had to break 90 before he could join Whisper Rock. So I'm trying to remember the story now. So Larry was playing at Paradise Valley Country Club. And he called Greg and said, let's see, 1, 2, 3. He had 3 holes to go. And he was something like 6 or 8 over par. So he was going to do it. And he said, get ready, I'm going to do it. So Greg didn't get a call for a while. Finally, Larry calls him like 3 hours later. And he goes, well, what happened? He goes, I shot 89. He said, I started making bogeys and doubles, choking my guts out. And he said, I couldn't stop the spew. I just got all over me. And he said, I had to sit home and just think about it for a while. But that's how he got in. He shot 89, choking his guts out, trying to get under the gun. And Larry's been a member here a long time, 10 years probably, something like that.
Man, well, he finally made it through, and he's there.
Yep.
It seems like every day during the summer or during this off season.
Yeah, he
right?
is. You see him here all the time.
Yeah. Well, another famous NFL player who plays a decent amount of golf, maybe not as much as Larry, but we've seen him at the AT&T. Tom Brady, of course, playing in the Super Bowl. Anything come to mind with Brady, whether on the course at Pebble at that event or just anywhere else where you've seen Tom?
I remember when I saw Tom. Jim Nance throws a party at a restaurant in it's
Carmel.
Invitee only, and it's in Monterey. And he gets the wine room downstairs, and now it is de facto the party to get invited to. There's a big table downstairs in the dungeon. It literally is a dungeon, and it's the who's who of the tournament is there, from quarterbacks to, I could tell you who's there, but celebrities and everything else. And Brady came with his, at that time, when he first came, and I met him down there, he had his girlfriend there. He wasn't married. He wasn't married at that time. That's as far as I go with that. and then, he brought his parents. His parents came to the party too, and they were fantastic. So that's the first time I met Tom. Great guy. Enjoyed it. And then I saw him afterwards, a couple times there, and I go, hey, Tom, and, with the mustache I got, you kind of remember my name, I guess. That's the only reason I remember it, I think. And so that's it. All I remember was when I first saw him, man, he had a really good golf swing. And I remember talking to him on the putting green on Saturday. He said, how long have you been playing? He said, yeah, I've been playing a little bit. My dad got me into golf for a while. So he says, I've been playing for a while. It was good. I mean, it was really, really good, long, languid. Looked like he had a lot of feel and everything else. And that's about it. I don't remember him playing or what he did or anything else, but I remember his golf swing was good. And he was fun at the party,
Yeah.
So it's always
well, you talked about
wine.
Oh yeah, that's right, the calling. Hey, so let me ask you this: so you're on the putting green on a Saturday morning. That is such a cool moment, I think, in the PGA Tour season. That Saturday morning. So anybody else come to mind that was really a fun character over your years of covering it?
Well, Bill Murray is certifiable. I mean, he's total whack job. Total. I love him to death. I mean, we've had some fun together, Bill and I. When I was on the 16th hole, I'll give you one. I was on the 17th hole in the old days. I brought a sofa out there. I brought end tables, lamps. I wanted these guys, and I never told my director I was going to do this. I wanted to be like they were on the Carson show, where they had instead of sitting there and I just stand up and do an interview. Hell, there's always a backup there. Let's put a couch there and put everything else. And I remember when my director saw it, he went nuts. And then he paused, and he goes, I like it. Keep doing it. So we did it. And so we were always going through these skits and stuff, right? So I noticed, and when Bill would come in, all hell would break loose. People would go nuts and everything. So I remember one time, the yacht club is right by the 17th tee, okay? And there was a guy back inside the ropes by the grandstands that had an ice cream stand. Okay. The double doors, and you reach down and you get your ice cream. And it was perfect because everybody in the stands, it was a nice day and ice cream. So I noticed, I look over to the left, and the chef and a couple of his sous chefs, I think, had come out from the yacht club. So between groups, I called him over. I said, "Do you have any fresh fish, whole? Big ones?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Can I borrow one?" He says, "Yeah, I'll get you one." Comes back and he has got a tuna fish. I know it's giant, right? So I go and I stuff it down in the ice cream vending machine. Okay. So okay.
Doesn't sound appetizing.
No one knows where we're going with this, right? I figured all the ice creams are encased in plastic, so it's not going to interfere with that. I don't think. I don't know. So here comes Murray, and Bill's up there, and he's jacking around and everything and having fun. And I kind of get up next to him, and I said, "There's a tuna in the ice cream truck." And I just walked away. And this is the brilliance of Bill Murray. You give him something like that. It's like a director in a movie. "Yeah, Bill, here's what I want this scene like in Caddyshack." There wasn't any script. The only script he told me he had was the Dalai Lama. Everything else was ad lib. Okay. So I gave him that and I sat back and I went, okay, what's he going to do? And he wandered around talking to the people. And then all of a sudden I see him kind of stroll over to the ice cream dispensary, little walk thing, whatever that's called. And I see him, "Hey, who wants," he'd reach down, "who wants a snow cone?" So I want it, and he'd throw it. "Who wants an ice cream sandwich?" And he'd throw it. And then he reads, "Who wants a tuna?" And he took it out and he threw it. These people, they're going nuts. I got laughing so hard. It was just perfect. He looked at me, he came by and he goes, "Thanks." And he walked down the deal. So stuff like that. You give Bill the tool, sit back and watch him and see how he incorporates it. It's always brilliant. Always brilliant.
Yes. Well, hell of a comedian he was. I can't, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about one of your old colleagues, David Faraday, whether it was at AT&T Pebble Beach or just in general. What's a really fun story that you think of when you think of David Faraday?
I can tell.
That you could tell, yes.
Was this before? Was he sober then, or was? There's a lot of criteria on that.
Did you guys do it party in the tap room one year or anything crazy like that?
He hated the AT&T. Hated it with a passion. He'd never show up Saturday. All the announcers to get down there was kind of it was kind of an indoctrination there, that you would go and sit on the putting green and talk to all the celebrities about whatever. You never got it on the air, but you talk to him. He wouldn't even get near him because he knew he had to interview him, and he was mortified. And there's a guy that's got his own show doing
with celebrities,
with presidents, with the top of the food chain in every corporate celebrity, whatever it is, athletics. And he was scared to death to talk to these guys because he didn't know what they were going to do. And I go, "Well, you're one of the great impromptu guys in the world. I hate it. I just hate this." You can get him on the air and ask him. He hated it. So he never really at AT&T. He was just, you could tell he didn't want to do it the whole time. Didn't want to do it. AT&T. We used to do this thing. We used to do this thing called the Late Night Show, David and I, for 4 tournaments. And it was a 15-minute long show that they inserted before the
Letterman, maybe?
Letterman, exactly.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure the right guy was doing it at that time. Letterman show. Letterman get pissed because we were always bumping 15 minutes late, a golf show. And David and I do stupid things. Just stuff you cannot believe. So one time we decided that we're going to do, it had to do with a boat. And we had to go, we took it from Monterey, from from the wharf down there. We had to go out around the peninsula and out by the 16th hole there at maybe it was the 7th hole. We finally ended up in near Pebble Beach, 7th green or something. We were doing something. It got blowing and the thing, and everybody got sick on the boat. And we got all the way out there. We didn't do anything because we couldn't shoot anything. The wind's blowing, it started to rain, and everybody was throwing up. And so we sailed all the way back, throwing up. And that's the only thing I remember about Faraday there. He hated to do the interviews, and then he got sick on that. It was a mess. What we used to do, we'd go out to the Lone Cypress and do the closing of the thing. It was freezing. And all I remember were the bad things. It was always weather. Yeah, it was always weather related. And, but we were still in Monterey, so it couldn't be any better. But Faraday stayed indoors most of the time during that whole fiasco at Pebble Beach.
Yes. Well, here, as we wrap up, I do want to ask you about betting and golf betting. And in some ways, we're seeing how much it's exploding there on Phoenix Open and other events like that with dedicated betting shows. But you were kind of ahead of the game with some of that, weren't you?
Well, no, I mean, the tour, the tour stopped me from betting at one time. As I go back, I remember the last time was I was on the 16th hole at Castle Pines for the International, and when Mickelson, now Phil and I, obviously, Phil grew up here at ASU. I lived here. We're out of Whisper Rock together. So, as you know, Phil likes to gamble. That's really a big secret, right? So yes. Every time he would get to the green, the hole I was on, which is always 16, I'd look down, and if Bones would look up, I would go 3-1. So if he had a 20-footer, it was 3-1 on $20. Okay, $20, because I didn't want to argue over the thing. It was always a standard 20. And I cannot tell you how many times I wadded 20s up and threw it down on the ground for Bones to pick up. I'd give Bones the deal. He'd go over to Phil, and they'd be looking at the putt. You could see him get in his ear. And then Phil would look up and give me his thumbs up. And I remember the last time I did it, I threw it on the ground at the 16th hole, the International par 3. Threw it on the ground. Bones took it over. And I remember the tour called. I don't know who saw it. I don't know who turned me in. Somebody saw it and said, they're gambling out there, and openly. And the tour told CBS to make me stop gambling. Well, now the tour has embraced gambling where they're throwing numbers all over. So in essence, yeah, you're right. Maybe I started the whole damn thing. There was a lot more gambling out there before, but anyway, that was stopped. I got to admit that they stopped me from doing it, but it's interesting. I don't know if we're going to have announcers anymore or bookies up there,
Yeah.
And now we've got we've got John Rahm now at plus 268, and we've got against Justin Thomas, who is plus 134. So my action would be on, and I'm going to play. I think the value is on this. It's going to get interesting, because I'll guarantee at one point they're going to hire a bookie, and they're going to go in there and tell you how to bet and what to do. So wow. we've got FanDuel. We signed a deal with FanDuel and DraftKings. So it's all in. We're going to try to piggyback the NFL and create another revenue source. And I just don't bet on Patrick Reed. That's another whole story.
You said don't bet on Reed?
Well, you saw what was they pulled all of his bets. I forgot the point something.
Yeah, points bet.
Points bet. That's it. They pulled all that. So you got another little problem there. So we got another show for that, but never mind.
Yeah. Well, as I wrap up here, speaking of shows, your show, McCord and Stoltz, what you guys have done here, how rewarding is that? I mean, Drew's a great guy, and you guys have so much fun, but how rewarding is that show for you guys?
Yeah, it was. I told Drew Sleaze, as we know him, he's a member of Whisper Rock, and I've known him for a long time. He was a kid, and he was always a smart ass, okay, which reminded me of me. And he was quick-witted, like Faraday, real quick. And he wanted to get in the business. So I got him in a couple of deals and everything. And I told him, listen, when I get old and frail like I am now, I said, why don't let's do something. And, we'll do a little radio thing and we'll do a pod, whatever, and let's do something. So that's kind of how it evolved. I stepped down, and then so we're doing this show. And for me, it's just cathartic. I can still stay in the game and we can talk about crap and entertain each other. And the good thing is nobody's listening, so it doesn't really matter what our content is. Honest to God, the last one I did, for the first 10 minutes, he's telling me about his club championship, how he got beat out of the first round at the Rock last week. And I'm kind of, morose and kind of going down. And he goes, what's wrong? And I go, well, here's what's wrong. When you get to my age, at 72, I said, here's the stuff you get in the mail. I said, read it. So he reads it and it says, Dear Gary, we would like to contact you more to get some more information about your current address and everything else, so we can keep you current with our facility of Neptune Society, which is cremation. And I go, what do you mean you want more information from me? What are you guys trying to do? So now the last, honest to God, I got this, they heard it, this company, tell you the truth now, this company takes, I forgot the name of it. I've got the brochure. We're going to call them too. I already did. This company takes your ashes and compresses them like you do carbon, compresses them under unbelievable pressure to make diamonds, and they make zirconium diamonds out of your ashes, and they put it in jewelry. So I designed, now the cheapest one is $3,000, and it's 1 carat to 0.09. No, it's 1 carat, let's say. And it costs $3,000, and I put it in jewelry. So I designed my jewelry, so it'd be like this. For my 20 buddies, I'm gonna spend 60 grand. I'm gonna get a nose ring for my boys, which is gonna be cool for guys that are 75. A nose ring that has got a magnet on it, and it's got a little ball mark with my zirconium imprint right there of my ashes in the front. So when you go to mark your ball, you take it off your nose and mark it and then put it back in. Now, can you imagine any more fun than 75-year-old guys doing that? So there's a company that does that.
Wow. So
I think we have some new sponsors on our radio show, and it's going to have to do with death and cremation. I think that's going to be the overriding theme of our show. That's how good it's going. Yeah.
Great stuff, Gary. Hey, it's been a pleasure getting to know you more here on Beyond the Clubhouse. Thanks for joining, and look forward to hearing more of your show. I know you're self-deprecating about it, but you guys have a great back and forth, though.
Well, thank you. We have a good time. Thanks a lot, Gary. I enjoyed it.